go back to the home page. I want to skip over search because that's the last and most comprehensive part of this. And going to the Learn section, I think it's something very critical to be able to provide budget basics for not only our voting citizens, but also our future voters. The infamous Billy Bargraf still remains. He was part of the original Open Door site, where we've gotten a lot of good feedback about Billy Bargraf. Although I have a 15-year-old, 13-year-old. My 13-year-old thinks he's cool. My 15-year-old thinks he's dorky. But we'll let you decide. You can see here that there are some easy ways to teach children about budget basics and encourage you to send your kids to this site and see what they learn. One thing I'm going to say, again, this is a product that we are constantly improving, and this is one section where we are going to continue to build out. We want to really work on helping promote financial literacy among the state's young people. That's a critical problem, a critical long-term problem. There's a lot of work being done in this area, but we want to make sure that Open Door helps provide those links. Additionally, when I showed you the transparency sections, and I showed you all those pie charts, let me show you that again real quickly. Ultimately, we're going to want to provide even more detail. Some other state sites that we're looking at, you could actually click onto one of these slivers of the pie and to get more detail. That will be an area of our focus in the next few months as we continue to expand the site. All right, I'm going to take you last to the search function because it really is probably the most important part of this, and certainly is the area where we have dramatically improved and expanded the site. There are, as you'll see, three principal searches that can be done. The search of expenditures, the search of contracts, and the search of salaries. The contract and salary search are brand new. The expenditure search is dramatically improved. And I'll take you through each of these, and we'll encourage you to get on yourself and to find out any information. Starting with the salary search, you'll see that salary data is updated twice a month, which means basically it's almost basically up to the minute. You're going to be able to find out salary data within a 2-week period. So anybody that hasn't been hired or promoted or given a raise in the last 2 weeks, you'll know about, and you'll find about the ones that have been in the last period during the next period. So we've offered searches obviously by first name, last name, by salary range, and by cabinet. For example, salary range, if I want to find out everybody who makes over $130,000, I just want to learn who are the most highly paid staff people in state government. I type in 130,000 during the start range. I don't put it in end range because I won't need to. And now I'm going to get a list of every state employee who earns this kind of money. So that is an area that a lot of people are interested in. Of course, you can also do a search by name. I will prove to you that there are a whole lot of Millers in state government, and I can also assure you that none of them are related to me. But all of my very distant cousin Millers, you could do a search and find the names that you're looking for. If you're actually wanting to find an individual, again, we'll look for me specifically, and there you find I'm the only Jonathan Miller in government right now. So my salary is fully transparent, as is every other state employee's. So the salary search is pretty self-explanatory. The great innovation of this is the Courier-Journal and the Herald-Leader have done a yeoman's job of sending us open records requests and then inputting it into their computers. But usually they've only done it twice a year or once a year. This is going to save them the trouble of having to do that from now on. And more importantly, it is going to have pretty much instant availability of those salaries. The contract search is something that we're really excited about because it's brand new. We have always had, or ever since I've been here, have had an ability for folks to search for government contracts on a separate site. It's our e-procurement site. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't know about that e-procurement site, and also it wasn't the most user-friendly site. It was a site that a lot of government contractors could use and find out information, but it wasn't really friendly to the public or watchdog groups who were wanting to find out contract information. But right here, we can do type in the name of any vendor of the state and find out what contracts they have. I'm going to pick on IBM because IBM is with us today and has been extremely helpful in making this a successful venture, Open Door. But you can see that when you type in IBM there, you're going to get all of the contracts that the state has had within the last 3 years. I mean, this only goes back 3 years, but that goes back all the way through the Beshear administration and a year before that. But you can see all the contracts that were let during this period. You'll see who the department was, the vendor name. Here's the category and the description, so what the purpose of it was. You see what the contract amount was. You see where the contract begins and where the contract ends. And most importantly, and this is getting a little cut off on this screen, I don't know if it's on your screen as well, you can actually view the contract itself. So if you click on View Contract PDF, ta-da, this is the contract that IBM and the state signed. And so if there's any detail you want to know about unit price or quantity, or if you really are one of those people that wants to check out the bottom line, every contract that is open under the law, and I must also give you a caveat that there are certain contracts and certain expenditures that are privileged, that are confidential due to concerns about security. You'll see no national security contracts on here. You won't see anything that has people's personal information like Social Security numbers, but every other contract for the state will be actually available in itself. And one of the things you have here is that you don't have to know exactly how the name is spelled to get to it. For example, you'll see some of these are IBM, others are IBM Corporation. As long as you type in a few letters that are within that name, you're going to get all of the things that fall under there. The one issue that you might need to do that was pointed out to us by Tom Loftus early on is sometimes people don't know whether there's a dash in the name. Like the prototypical example of that is Walmart. Some people spell Walmart without a dash, some people spell it with a dash. I advise you to try it both ways because sometimes it won't pick up. But if you type in WALM, you're going to get pretty much, or excuse me, WAL, you're going to get pretty much the whole shebang. So I want to encourage people to be more specific, to try as many different searches as they can. There is software we've learned that corporations like Google used that would make that search even easier, that would help pull out the things with hyphens. Unfortunately, that software costs over $100,000. That might be something that we can pursue in the future, but as you all know, the state is very tight circumstances, and they're supposed to be getting even tighter. And so we can, using a lot of manpower, but not spending a lot of money on innovations like that. So that would have to be something we do in the future. So that's the state contract search. One last thing I want to say about that, there is a national advocacy agency that rates state transparency websites, and they rated Indiana's contract search the #1 in the country. And so we modeled ours after Indiana's because we want to be as innovative as possible. So we believe that that contract search that I just showed you is at the top of the country. The final search is the expenditure search, and this is going to be the most comprehensive search of all because now you can, this is basically the state's checkbook. You can drill down for the first time and find out, again, things that aren't privileged, things that aren't confidential, but with those caveats, pretty much every expenditure that the state incurs. And you can find out what each check was written for. That information is updated twice a day. Previously we had been putting up a lot of data, and then a few weeks later we'll put up a whole lot more data. The most important innovation of this site, the thing that we're most excited about, whether we're talking about contracts or we're talking about expenditures, is that we now have this fully automated so that when it goes through the accounting system, it now goes immediately to the Open Door site. And so you are getting an expenditure search that is equivalent to one that I can get. So you're getting the immediate this immediate service, and that took us longer to do, to be able to coordinate that and to make it possible, as well as to weed out all of the confidential data that we are not permitted by law to share with the public. That took us a while, but now we're there, and again, something we're awfully proud